It's not bitter, not sweet, extra dry flavored treat. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer?
Ever thought about the beers of the 1960s that made waves in American bars, yet have faded from memory? What about those underrated brews that once graced bars and parties, but now seem lost to time? The 1960s marked a vibrant era for beer, with iconic brands like Rheingold and Red gaining national acclaim. However, amidst these giants, several lesser-known beers carved out their own niche, offering unique flavors and local pride. Join us as we uncover 10 underrated beers from the 1960s that deserve a place in the spotlight once more.
The pleasure of this beer doesn't fade after one glass or two. Even after your thirst is gone, the pleasure of ice-cold Schaefer keeps coming on.
Schaefer beer was first brewed in New York City in 1842 by the F&M Schaefer Brewing Company, and it quickly became a notable name in American brewing. By the 1960s, Schaefer had gained national recognition, reaching its pinnacle in 1962, with an impressive sale of 12 million barrels. Its popularity was largely due to its crisp, clean taste and distinctive red, white, and blue can design. During the 1960s, Schaefer beer consistently ranked among the top-selling beers in the United States. However, as the 1980s approached, changing consumer preferences posed challenges. Despite increased production, Schaefer struggled to compete with larger national brands. In 1981, the Schaefer family sold the company to Stroh Brewery Company, which later passed ownership to Pabst Brewing Company in 1999. But how did another beloved local beer, Falls City, navigate its journey? What challenges and triumphs did it face? Let's explore.
And he recommends Falls City.
In the 1960s, Falls City beer was more than just a local brew in Louisville, Kentucky. It was a beloved symbol of the region. Since its founding in 1905, Falls Brewing Company had been known for its light-bodied pale lager brewed with 6-row malted barley, a hint of corn or rice, and just the right touch of hops. This refreshing brew was perfect for relaxing on sunny afternoons. During Prohibition from 1919 to 1933, Falls City adapted by producing ice, soft drinks, and near beer. When Prohibition ended in 1933, they resumed beer production, and by the late 1960s, Falls City dominated Louisville as the top beer brand. Its iconic tavern signs adorned watering holes across neighborhoods like St. Matthews and Germantown, drawing patrons seeking crisp refreshment. However, as larger national brands expanded their reach, Falls City faced tough competition. Ultimately, the brewery ceased production to avoid competing with industry giants. Despite this setback, Falls City remained a cherished memory for many. In 2010, the brewery made a comeback, capitalizing on nostalgia and reintroducing its lineup to a new generation. As Falls City beer's legacy fades against industry giants, can Blatz beer with roots in Milwaukee survive similar changes? Let's find out.
I'm from Milwaukee.
We are too.
I'm from Milwaukee, and I ought to know. It's draft brewed Blatz beer.
Blatz beer was more than just a drink. It was a beloved symbol in the Milwaukee community in the 1960s. Brewed by the Blatz Brewing Company since 1847, this light-bodied pale lager was crafted from malted barley and balanced hops, creating a refreshing brew perfect for lazy afternoons. By the mid-1960s, Blatz was thriving, selling 8.5 million barrels in 1966. Locals cherished its easy drinking flavor and deep ties to Milwaukee's brewing tradition. The iconic Blatz sign was hung up in taverns everywhere, inviting patrons to enjoy a cold beer and soak in the city's atmosphere. However, the beer industry underwent significant changes. Mergers and acquisitions became commonplace, leading to Blatz being phased out in the early 1990s by its owner, Pabst Brewing Company. The beer, once a favorite, faded from memory, like an old record left in an attic. As Blatz beer's legacy faded, Stroh Brewery's innovation and resilience thrived. What challenges did Stroh's face next? Let's explore their journey
Cars for your Stroh's Light. They say, Fidel, you're gonna have to forget about it.
It's not the same as other lights. It's fire-brewed Stroh's Light.
Stroh beer was incredibly popular in the 1960s. Known not just for its taste, but for the entire experience it offered. Founded by German immigrant Bernard Stroh in Detroit, Michigan in 1850, Stroh Brewery Company began with a clear vision to brew Bohemian-style Pilsner, a light lager that had gained favor in Europe. Using copper kettles and delivering beer door-to-door in a wheelbarrow, Stroh's quickly became a household name. Innovation defined Stroh's success. They adopted the fire brewing method, using direct flames to heat their kettles, which gave their beer a distinctive flavor. The Bohemian Lager even won awards, like a blue ribbon at the 1893 Columbian Exposition in Chicago. Despite challenges as national breweries grew, Stroh's expanded, introducing brands like Goebel and Schlitz and shipping nationwide via refrigerated rail cars. However, by the 1980s, efficiency issues led to the closure of their Detroit brewery. Despite this, Stroh's enduring legacy lives on through its iconic lion emblem and the occasional revival of its brand, most recently in 2022 in Detroit. As the era of Stroh's Brewery Company closes, what lies ahead for Burgermeister Beer's legacy? Let's explore that next.
Right now, while you're watching TV.
Fergie is brewed for refreshing people. Fergie is crisp and cool and bright.
Burgermeister Beer, brewed by the Burgermeister Brewing Corporation, soared in popularity during the vibrant era of bell-bottoms and psychedelic music. Known for its crisp and clean flavor, it quickly became a favorite among blue-collar workers, college students, and weekend revelers. Selling a staggering 18 million barrels in 1967 alone, Burgermeister was not just a drink, but a cultural phenomenon. What set Burgermeister apart was its affordability. In an era when money was tight, this beer offered quality without a hefty price tag. Its catchy slogan, Burgermeister Beer, it's Burgermeister time, became ingrained in popular culture, echoing from backyard barbecues to local pubs. The label, featuring a stern Burgermeister raising his stein, added to its distinctive charm. However, as tastes evolved in the 70s and 80s, favoring imported and craft beers, Burgermeister's popularity waned. As the 60s drew to a close, Burgermeister Beer's cultural reign was undeniable. But as taste shifted in the 80s, could Drury's withstand the changing beer landscape? Let's explore Drury's resilience amidst fierce competition and ownership changes.
Drury's beer has the perfect balance between flavor and lightness, because Drury's brews all the flavor in and the sweetness out.
In the 1960s, Drury's beer was a beloved staple across the Midwest. Brewed by the Geo Rule Brewing Company in Wheeling, West Virginia, it captured the hearts of beer lovers with its smooth, easy-drinking flavor, a perfect match for any backyard gathering. What set Drury's apart was its iconic green glass bottle, instantly recognizable on shelves and in hands alike. Complementing its taste was Mr. Drury, a whimsical green keg man who became a quirky symbol in their advertisements. However, the 70s posed challenges as national beer giants gained ground, creating tough competition. In 1963, Drury's faced the inevitable and sold to the Associated Brewing Company. Ownership changes ensued, impacting its stability, but not erasing its legacy. Despite these shifts, Drury's name persisted, evoking nostalgia among those who remembered its heyday. As Drury's beer faced ownership changes in the 70s, Peel's beer, too, struggled against shifting consumer tastes. What awaited these iconic brews next? Let's explore Peel's evolving fortunes.
Fly 4 couples over for New Year's Eve in Paris.
Get entry blanks wherever they sell Peel's beer.
Picture yourself basking on Peel Island amid native girls.
In the 1960s, Peel's beer was a well-loved brew in America. Founded by the Peel brothers in Brooklyn in 1881, the brewery gained fame for crafting beers that resonated with locals. Pils beer, particularly their light and easy drinking lager, became synonymous with good times and neighborhood gatherings. Their catchy slogan, Pils Pilsner, it's Peel Good, echoed through bars and backyard parties alike. During the 1960s, Pils reached its peak as a cultural icon, especially in the Northeast. Its popularity soared with its approachable flavor and refreshing taste, making it a staple at Mets games and local pubs. However, by the 1970s, consumer preferences shifted towards lighter beers, challenging Pils' traditional lager offerings. Despite efforts by Schaefer Brewing Company to revive the brand in 1972, and later by Pabst Brewing Company in 1989, Pils gradually faded from the market. By the early 2000s, it had become a fond memory for those who cherished its heyday, a reminder of a bygone era in New York's beer scene. As Pils beer's legacy faded, could Gunther Brewing's resilience reveal insights into beer's cultural impact? Let's explore brewing's evolving tale.
Have a glass of Gunther and you'll have a little fun to get the happiest taste in beer.
Gunther Brewing Company, located in Baltimore's Canton neighborhood, was a significant brewery from 1900 onwards. Founded by George Gunther Jr., it quickly became a major producer in Baltimore by the 1960s, producing 800,000 barrels annually and employing 600 people by 1959. In the 1960s, during a boom in beer culture, Gunther gained popularity for its well-crafted lagers and ales, notably the crisp Gunther Premium. Baltimore residents embraced Gunther as a local icon, bolstered by effective marketing campaigns and community involvement. Despite its initial success, Gunther faced challenges. Acquired first by Hamm's Brewing Company and later by Miller Brewing Company, it eventually fell under F&M Schaefer Brewing Company in 1963. Efforts to sustain the brewery proved futile, and Gunther closed its Canton plant in 1978. Despite this, its legacy endures through its historical recognition on the National Register of Historic Places since 2002, highlighting its architectural significance and role in Baltimore's brewing history. Gunther beer ended in 1978. But what about other iconic breweries? What challenges did Red Top beer face in the Midwest? Let's find out. In the 1960s, the Red Top Brewing Company, based in Cincinnati, Ohio, brewed their flagship beer, Red Top. This beer became beloved among many, especially in the Midwest, for its refreshing taste and smooth finish. Ohioans particularly embraced Red Top, considering it a part of their local culture. Whether enjoyed at local bars or family gatherings, Red Top was a familiar sight, symbolizing Midwestern pride. What made Red Top beer popular was its craftsmanship. Brewed with care, it offered a balanced flavor that appealed to a wide audience. However, despite its local popularity and community connections, Red Top faced challenges as larger breweries and changing consumer tastes favored lighter, mass-produced beers as the decade progressed. By the late 1970s, Red Top beer struggled to compete and eventually disappeared from shelves, marking the end of an era. As Red Top beer's era faded, in the late 70s, another iconic brew faced challenges. Will Rheingold's beer marketing prowess withstand changing tastes? Let's explore its journey.
The beer is like Rheingold, man, it's happily dry.
Rheingold beer was once a beloved brew from Brooklyn's Liebman Brewery, a cornerstone of New York's beer-making legacy since 1860. Its heyday, however, arrived in the 60s when Rheingold gained national acclaim. The beer's popularity soared due to its effective marketing campaigns, featuring catchy jingles that made Rheingold the dry beer a household name. Its crisp Pilsner flavor, housed in a distinctive red, white, and blue can, also contributed to its widespread appeal among beer enthusiasts. By 1962, Rheingold reached its pinnacle, selling an impressive 12 million barrels and solidifying its position in the American beer market. Despite this success, the 1970s posed significant challenges. Increased labor costs and stiff competition from larger breweries squeezed Rheingold's profitability. In 1964, the Liebman family handed control to Pepsi-Cola bottlers in a bid to revitalize the brand. But changing consumer tastes towards lighter beers ultimately led to Rheingold's decline. Production ceased in 1976, marking the end of an era for this iconic New York brew. These 10 underrated beers from the 1960s have left a lasting impression on beer enthusiasts despite their faded popularity. Which of these forgotten brews would you love to rediscover today? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more nostalgic journeys through beverage history.